Hey guys, so we are about halfway through the season and we got another really good episode this time.
It was so solid. This is the first time that I was actually starting to claw my way under a blanket because I couldn't deal with it anymore.
Well, there were two instances. One of them was fear and the other one was disgust. Yeah.
But okay, one very important thing before we get into this episode, that is the strain has been renewed for a third season. Woo! This crazy train is just gonna keep chugging along.
And I'm totally okay with that,
I
guess.
am totally okay with that.
So, in this episode, F has decided that he needs to take his cure, which we're not 100% sure it works, but it probably works. He needs to take it to Washington, and he's like, hey, Nora, Zach, ready to go? And they're like, don't think so. Nora's like, I'm gonna stay here, and Zach wants to stay here, and it's gonna look really suspicious if we all go together, so, you know, you're going on your own. And F's like, no, I really need you on this trip. And she's
Nora's like, no, you don't.
I'm making this decision.
And
sorry.
And then the best thing to happen on this train, on one of my favorite websites in the whole wide world, they put it in probably one of the best ways ever, and that is, one of the most obnoxious things about this TV show has finally been removed. Corey Stoll loses the wig.
I know that face now.
And so our Ant-Man origin story just gets a little bit more accurate. Just saying.
Oh, somebody needs to write this because this is brilliant shit, my friend. Now that the rat catcher is in jail, they need to bust him out.
Do they actually, though? That's like the best part. They're like, Nora and Kesha go, and Nora's like, oh, well, I can actually identify infected people within an hour, but if you want me to help you, you need to help me. And so they go back into, like, to get the rat catcher, and he's in there with a bunch of people playing cards. He's like, we'll all meet up again in a year. Bring something good this time.
You better be there, Jacqueline. And he walks out.
Like, I love you.
He is fine anywhere he goes. He just makes friends.
People just love him because he's so much fun.
And so, lo and behold, he ends up making friends with the guy who just brutally punched him in the face in the last episode.
Because, like, Kesha grabs him and she's like, you see this? You see this? And he's like, she's foreign. What she's trying to say.
What she's trying to say is, you know, I was trying to blow up the subway to help you guys. And the guy's like, I know that, but, you know, we can't have civilians just blowing things up even though you did a good job. And so he ends up making friends with the guy because he's like, no, I'm an exterminator and I've been exterminating these vampires. You don't know about silver?
But.
And then tell you the wonders of silver.
And then it's like, but, you know, bullets, they've been, like, doing great, but not for those spider children. And, oh my god, because these spider children, like Kelly's minion children, are how I envision these vampires to be. Like, all of them. Like, these things are wicked fast. They're creepy as hell. Like,
they
they're just so perfect. Like, they just
They jump around. They seem to, like, disappear out of nowhere.
They scuttle and then, like,
lurk.
The sound mixing for their movements is beautiful. It's so just uncomfortable, and I loved every minute of it because it was just like, this is what I thought. Like, they're creepy. Like, at this point, fully grown vamps are kind of, like, boring. They're kind of waxy, but these kids, like, just the eye makeup, because they have, like, white out lenses in and, like, black around the, like, it's just...
It's great. They do such a good job.
Oh, it's so good.
And this is the part when they're going through the building trying to clear out these kids where she's under the blanket, like, I can't look.
So we're in this building, and we're in this one apartment, and the rat catcher is, like, checking things out, and he starts hearing noises in the wall, and I'm just like, nope. I am so done.
And I'll go the blanket like this, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's stab the wall.
Yep.
As he's, like, stabbing the wall, I'm like, oh, yes, let's just make a big enough hole where a stinger can just pop through. And so, lo and behold, he's, like, down there, and he's looking through this hole in the wall. And then all of a sudden, the stinger just comes shooting out the wall. I'm like, called it.
And then Kesha just, like, cuts it.
and they stab the thing through the wall. You just got this like gruesome face peeking
that's
through,
blinking at you, and I'm just like, I love this show. During the moment, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I watching this? I hate this show, and now I'm like, yes, adrenaline. This show is amazing. I am totally not sleeping tonight.
And then then they're like, oh, did you check the elevator shaft? And lo and behold, there's like 10 of them down there at the bottom sleeping, right? And he's like, silver grenade, and then they all go. And
it's beautiful.
Disintegrate.
It's beautiful.
And then the cop looks down and he's like, oh, I get the silver thing now.
And Nora's making herself useful with a UV light, and she's helping them clear out people who aren't actually infected and finding people who are infected. And then our beloved kick-ass lady politician finds out that her nephew is infected, and that's really hard because I thought it was a really good character building thing because she's like, I've been making these people hand over their relatives to be exterminated, and I can't even kill one of mine. Like, I'm a hypocrite. I'm like, this is a proper reaction. Like,
yeah.
This is how you show emotion. Strain, that's another check mark for this episode.
It was really well done. So then we get Corey Stoll on the train. And so he has snuck on this train as a government CDC official, even though he's a wanted person.
Ugh. Well, it makes sense that he would go undercover as CDC because he could get anywhere.
And he needs to be at the CDC in the end anyways.
But the problem with F is so full of himself that he's on this train and his boss is on this train and he's like, I have to avoid my boss. And then random medical checks, which he's pissed off about, which totally, like, logical. And he's like, oh, I know how an infection, like, I know signs of the infection. I was one of the first scientists. And I'm just like, really? Really, dude?
And they're like, what's your name? He's like, shit. And then, of course, because he's an idiot and he doesn't know how to lay low, he ends up running into his goddamn boss. And so he ends up trying to, like, beat his boss into unconsciousness. That doesn't work out very well. So he ends up pushing him off the train instead.
I think my favorite part of this episode, back to the beginning, where the cops are trying to clear out this building, and it gets bit, like, one of the cops gets bitten on the leg. It's like, oh, at least it wasn't my neck. I'm okay. And I'm just like,
we're just sitting there like, the fuck is wrong with you?
And I mean, I totally understand why they did it, as stupid as it is. It's because this system is too perfect.
Like they're working
too well. We have to have something. Someone has to mess up somewhere so that when we get to the finale, Staten Island can be lost and Manhattan can be lost and we can open it up with, where humanity is basically fucked. Yeah. Which is totally where this show is going.
But you're just sitting there like, this guy's eyes are bright red. Do you not see a problem with this?
Yeah, and I mean, like, this could have easily been solved by briefing your people. Like, do you remember in 28 Days Later, where the awesome kick-ass lady is just like, were you bitten? And then just goes to town on, like, her best friend with a machete?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of policy we need in this army.
Ugh.
So, then Satrakan is still looking for the Lumen.
He's badass.
Yeah, totally takes down, like, a group of, like, 5 gangsters and bends them to his will.
Because Satrakan is, like, amazing. Oh, he's just like, these are, like, very expensive watches.
There was only 3 of these supposedly ever made. This is the 4th. And you're like, damn, man. Damn, you've had that this whole time. You saved that from your apartment being wrecked.
You know, the thing about Satrakan that I love is he has so many plans and so many contingency plans. Like, he's the guy in the heist movie who is just like, oh yes, this is the heist, but it's actually the distraction and this is the heist going on over here. Like, he's
got the sleight of hand thing.
Oh, he's the best, and I love him, and he's great.
So anyway, Satrakan is walking back from his encounter with the gangsters, and somebody is following him, so he realizes it, throws him off the scent, and comes up behind the guy, and who is it but Fitzwilliams.
And we were both kind of excited because we're like, oh my god, Folksy is alive, because he had the same kind of walk. And I'm like, yes, please. And it's like, oh, it could be Gus. But I'm like, I like Fitzwilliam. Fitzwilliam's going to be awesome. I love him.
I hope he's got the sincerity and the drive to do this shit, because...
Get back at our frickin' Eldritch Palmer.
Let's talk about Eldritch Palmer.
Eldritch Palmer's out on a date at a restaurant with his secretary.
Coco. So, they're out on this date, and of course the rich people are ignoring the problem. Oh, yes.
Eldritch Palmer, you're gonna save this city. Go to hell.
And they're just having their meal like nothing is the matter.
And then like a cardinal walks up. And know that thing you wanted? It might be appearing soon.
I have to talk to my contacts.
I'm just like, what the hell? And Coco's just like, so what was that about? And he's like, oh, it's nothing. It didn't seem like nothing. I'm like, wake up. Please, God, wake up. Because clearly, like, you are starting to pick up on the warning signs. And Eldritch Palmer is starting to slip. Like, they get back from dinner. It's like, oh. And they see that this building is on fire. like
blazing. Like, if people were in there, they are now dead.
And she's like, I hope no one's in there. And he's like, oh, at this hour, no one will be in there. We don't even have to turn on the fireplace. And she's just like...
The look of, like, just horror and confusion on her face. And you're like...
I'll get you some alcohol.
So, the way that they've decided to get around the fact that this is a really creepy relationship, totally gross, is they have her set up as the one who's making the move. Even though she could clearly be his granddaughter.
And that she was completely kind of freaked out by him previously. It's just like, now that we put on some music, let's totally dance. And
come on, little man. Do I have to put you in a nursing home?
And of course,
nothing you can do can convince me that this woman is going to fall for Eldritch Palmer.
I know. One thing I did notice, no Eichhorst in this episode.
Yeah.
My favorite baddie was absent, and I missed his smile.
I know. But you did see the goth rocker
lurking around. In music. And okay, I am so excited because the way this episode ended, I was just like, I can't believe it's over because I want to see what's happening. So this plane pulls into this airport.
I'm not sure where it is.
It's just somewhere probably near New York.
I just missed the little bar that's
it was yeah. This plane pulls in, and these two guys get off, and two guys come out. They're like, what are you doing? Like, this area is closed. Like, this is a no-fly zone. Na. They're like, oh, we had to stop. Our passenger was sick. Where is he? Well, he went that way. And I'm just like, oh, my God.
What is going on?
What is going on? Is
Who
this
is
what
this?
I think it is?
And then I'm like, what fresh horror is this going to be?
And I had a little bit of an internal crisis. Because, so we cut to this guy walking to a black, like, unmarked vehicle. And he's got, like, the hood on, you know, all you can see is his chin. And he's got this, like, bone sword
over his shoulder.
And he's got that, like, I am the badass motherfucker walk.
And for a moment, all you just see is this perfect chin. And you're
like, uh-oh, Quinlan's hot. That's like what I'm thinking. And I'm like, this is so wrong. I was not ready to be attracted to a vampire on this train.
And then they show his actual face, and you're like, no.
You're like, okay. We're cool. Everything is cool.
I think it's just the actor's beauty just
shining through the makeup. So Quinlan, I don't want to spoil who Quinlan is, but let's just say he's awesome. And he has a few grudges he has to pick with the master. And he's going to fill the hole in my heart that Folksy left there. Because he's going to be the badass. And I am so excited. I want him to meet the rat catcher.
I want them all to meet. I want Gus to be taken into the fold.
Yeah.
And I want Quinlan to come in because then him and Satrakan have to have this thing like, you're a vampire. And he's like, no, I'm not a vampire. I'm just really weird.
And they can both like bond over their hatred of the master.
He ruined my life. Yeah, mine too.
Everybody hates everyone.
Hopefully sometime before the end of the series we get this big mass meeting of people because they're gonna be awesome.
So I think this is probably one of the strongest episodes, especially after the last two episodes where it was just kind of like,
And yeah, so actual fear came back in
Yeah,
this
like,
episode.
the stakes have been raised. Like, those creepy vampire children.
If somebody wanted to do some damage, that's who you call.
I think another thing the Master really needs to take into account is I think he needs more, I-Coursts. You know, like...
More lieutenants.
He has I-Courst, he has the Goth Rocker, and he has Kelly, and we haven't given Kelly back much of her personality. Like, the only thing Kelly has going for her right now is she's motherly to her vampire children.
Yeah, and
Like,
she's totally obsessed with Zach. That's it.
and I can get the Master being like, I'll make, like, let her track her son, because that's gonna lead me right to the group, but it makes her not as an interesting character.
You're just like, oh, you're kind of creepy over there.
Yeah.
And of course, Zach is just not helping the situation. You just want to push this kid off screen.
You know that now F's gone? Like, the Batcave of this show is totally gonna get razed to the ground, and Zach is gonna get taken.
Take him! I am done! Please, dear God.
So, predictions for the rest of the season.
Please take him.
Chelsea
That is my prediction.
gone. I think everything is gonna go downhill in DC. Probably that guy that F was talking to on the train is infected, because he said since he was a government job, he bypassed the security, so...
Nora's gonna come into her own because she has found her place at the CD, or at the, I don't know what you want to call it.
The Take Back New York City Fund.
Yeah, she's found her place there, and she's actually helping people, and she can be her good person self.
Mm-hmm. She's doing what she wants to do.
Kesha and the Ratcatcher are just gonna continue to be awesome.
And kick ass and take names.
And I think they're gonna run into Gus by the end of the series.
Yeah.
So that is our prediction about halfway through the season. Let us know what you guys think. And if you liked our videos, subscribe.
And if you have any strain-related topics that you want us to talk about, tell us in the comments. We love talking about this show.
Bye, guys.